Hello, everyone, and welcome to your daily AI News Digest. It is Thursday, January 15th, 2026. And today feels different. We're seeing a huge shift happening across the entire industry, and we're going to break it all down. All right, let's jump right in. This quote just perfectly captures the feeling in the air today. The whole conversation has changed. We're finally moving past the endless hype about what AI could do someday and into what a lot of people are calling AI realism. It's no longer about cool experiments. It's about real, tangible, industrial strength deployment. And that really brings us to our first major theme. AI is graduating from being a neat feature to becoming a core, foundational piece of the economy. I mean, the way we measure success is changing. It's not about novelty anymore. It's about long-term value and how these powerful systems actually plug into the real world of work. Okay, now for the headline story of the day. OpenAI just dropped its new family of models, GPT-5.2. And listen, this is not just another incremental upgrade. This feels like a fundamental shift in the very nature of knowledge work. That little AI assistant you've been using, well, it just got a massive promotion. So have a look at this. What OpenAI has done here is pretty smart. They've basically unified all their models into these specialized tiers. You've got Instant for those quick, everyday chats. Over on the other end, you've got Codex for really heavy-duty coding tasks. And then right in the middle, you have Thinking for complex reports and Pro for high-level scientific stuff. It's all about having the right tool for the right job. And to prove just how capable these new models are, OpenAI rolled out a brand new benchmark. It's called GDPval. And you can just forget about all those abstract technical tests. This thing measures one thing. Can the AI do actual, economically valuable work? We're talking about the real-world tasks that professionals in 44 different fields are paid to do day in and day out. And the result? Well, it is absolutely stunning. The GPT-5.2 Thinking model either performed better than or just as well as human industry professionals on, get this, 70.9% of those tasks. Think about that. Creating complex financial models, writing structured reports, building multi-layered presentations, all at an expert human level. And this chart just puts it in perfect perspective. I mean, look at that. For the very first time, we have a direct apples-to-apples comparison, where an AI isn't just helping, it's actually meeting or beating human experts across a huge range of high-value corporate work. And it's often doing it way, way faster. So here's the crucial takeaway. We're seeing a major role change for AI. It's moving from being an assistant that helps you draft a quick email to being a primary producer that can generate the entire quarterly report from scratch. And that, right there, is going to force a radical rethinking of what an entry-level professional job even is. Now, when you have this kind of power, it naturally kicks off a whole new kind of corporate race. It's not just about who has the smartest model anymore. It's also about who has the sheer horsepower to run it at scale, and crucially, who can get businesses to actually trust it with their data. Case in point, OpenAI just announced a monster hardware deal. They are locking down 750 megawatts of specialized computing power from Cerebras. Why? Because when AI becomes a true collaborator, speed is everything. The speed of the interaction becomes the new competitive advantage. Any delay, any latency is the enemy. At the exact same time, OpenAI's biggest rival, Anthropic, is making a different kind of power play. They are reportedly closing a truly staggering $10 billion funding round, which would value the company at $350 billion. I mean, that just shows you the insane level of investor confidence in their very different strategy. And here is that different strategy. Anthropic just launched Claude Cowork. And this is a game changer. It's an AI agent that runs directly on your local computer. It can read your files, edit them, create new ones, all inside your own folders, without ever sending sensitive company data to the cloud. For businesses, this solves the #1 hurdle to adoption: privacy and security. So what we're seeing laid out here are two totally different philosophies for the future of AI. On one hand, you have OpenAI, chasing this idea of mathematical superintelligence by scaling up raw centralized computing power. And on the other, you have Anthropic, which is gunning for enterprise dominance by building trusted, private AI agents that live on your own machine. It's really a battle of scale versus sovereignty. But all this incredible power isn't just for writing memos and building spreadsheets. It's also starting to be used in fields where there is absolutely zero room for error, like science and mathematics. The big question has always been, can AI go beyond just predicting the next word to actually proving something is true with 100% certainty? And really, this is the fundamental question that's been holding AI back from a lot of high-stakes work. If a large language model is, at its core, just a super sophisticated pattern matching machine, can we ever truly rely on it? Or is it always just making a very, very educated guess? Well, to answer that, we need to talk about something called Erdős problems. These are some of the most famously difficult mathematical puzzles out there. We're talking about problems that have stumped the smartest mathematicians on the planet for decades. They are the absolute peak of abstract logical reasoning. And the only way to solve one of these problems with absolute certainty is with something called a formal proof. Now, this isn't an answer written out in English. It's a solution written in a special computer language that can be checked line by line for logical perfection. It leaves zero room for error and zero possibility of an AI hallucination. And today, we're reporting a genuine scientific breakthrough. An AI system powered by GPT-5.2 has not only discovered solutions to several of these impossible Erdős problems, but it has formally proved those solutions are correct in a verification language called Lean4. This is a huge moment. The AI didn't just guess the right answer, it proved it was right beyond any doubt. So, okay, with these AI systems becoming so incredibly powerful and capable, the obvious next question is, what are the rules of the road? Let's take a quick look at how different countries are trying to get a handle on all this. And when you look at the global picture, it's a bit of a mess. There is no single approach. You have the European Union, which has already put strict rules in place focusing on user rights and transparency. Then you have the US, where the federal approach is basically hands-off to encourage innovation. But then states like California are creating their own tough safety rules. And then you have China, which is mandating technical things like watermarking. For any company that operates globally, it's becoming a really complex patchwork of rules to follow. So, as we start to wrap this up, where does all this leave us? It really feels like we're standing at a brand new frontier, you know? And we're facing some of the biggest questions we've ever had to ask about the future of work, of science, and of intelligence itself. But it's also probably a good idea to keep some perspective. NVIDIA's CEO Jensen Huang gave everyone a dose of that recently. He said that while the progress we're seeing today is absolutely incredible, this idea of a God AI that masters literally all of human knowledge, well, that's still a very, very long way off. His timeline for that? Biblical or galactic. And that brings us right back to our final thought for the day. We started this whole thing by talking about how AI has now become a primary producer of high-value work, not just a tool for prediction. So that leaves all of us with a pretty profound question to think about. What then is the new job description for humanity? That's your digest. Thanks for tuning in.